For for anybody that's followed the channel for any length of time at all, on the you'll know the history of this Kibler Fowler. I got it. I wanted it in time for spring turkey season, and Kibler got it out and got it mailed to me in plenty of time, but the post office managed to keep it for the better part of a month. So by the time I got it, turkey season was on top of me. So I just got it assembled, did a little bit of finish work on it, particularly as far as staining and oiling the stock to get that, to get enough finish on it to protect it while hunting. And absolutely nothing done to the lock. The brass, that's all finished. I finished all brass. So you might say the gun is, what, 60% finished, something like that. Anyway, turkey season's over. I got my turkey. So now I'm going to take this thing apart, disassemble it totally again, and finish it. So let's get started on that. Oh, first thing I'm going to do, take the lock off. It's a pouring down rain out there today, so it's a good day to do this. So now we got the lock off. Next thing I'm going to do is dismantle it so I can work on it. The first thing I'm going to do, I reckon, is take the flint out of it. Take the flint out, and I'm going ahead and take the screw completely out of the cock. Go ahead and get me some pull parts in. Then I reckon I'll take the mainspring out of it next. Now, that should do it. That'll do it. Well, Or it just come right out there. You get it down far enough, should come right on out there. Alright. Now let's get the freezer spring off. Well, take the fridge screw out. Fridge comes off. Now the frizz and spring screw is right here, and it's underneath the mainspring. So you have to take the mainspring out before you can get the frizz and spring screw. So we get that little fella out. Now our frizz and spring comes off. I'm going to put that right back where it belongs. Put that little screw right back in there, so we'll know where it goes. You have to pull the hammer back a little ways clear. That will fill so you can get that spring out, or screw out rather. That's your sear spring. Once you get that out, there's your spring. Pull the sear spring out. There again. I'm going to put the screws right back where they belong. Now you can take the sear out. Sear, put that spring right, screw right back where it goes. Now, take the brow, at this point you want to make sure that you don't lose the little fly. Which is right here. You don't want to lose that little gentleman. He's a tiny little fella. He's very important. You don't want to lose him. That's for certain. Well, we have it almost disassembled now. Except for getting the cock off the tumbler. You definitely need to do that. And for that, I had made up in the past little square that fits. Well, it fit into my wood runner, but it's a little bit, seems a little bit big for this. So I got a little filing to do. So now we got the parts that need to be filed to get them casting and milling marks out of. The cock, the side plate, the frizzen. We're ready to get started polishing now. That frizzen is so hard that the best thing you can use on it to take out those marks is little diamond files. And I've got several of them in different shapes. So I'll start with them. And thus begins a long process. And of course you use different shape files. Back here in the corners, like here, I use a round and a half round. Use a round to start coming out of the corner. Then I use a little half round on one side, flat on the other. Right out of that corner. It takes a while to do all this, but the lock, the whole gun certainly looks better if you do that, to get out some of the casting, I guess you could say, imperfections, or milling just not quite exactly right. Now these locks are good enough that you can just use them just like they are. I mean, I've used this one in the white now for 2 months. Well, it was after the turkeys, and it looked great. It looked fine. And then I go and I look at my wood runner. And I did all this too, and go ahead and bite the bullet. Start on this one. It is a lot of work that's absolutely, I mean, it's not necessary. There. I see a lot of people use them just like they come. There's nothing wrong with that. Because they look good right out of the box. So it was a little work. I can make them look better. So that's what I'm going to do. For sure you want to, getting fine details, get rid of the casting marks, the demarcation line where your two halves of the mold come together. Yeah, move around. There it is. Now I'm not wanting to touch the contact point where this contacts your frizz spring, the little shiny spot there. You know, I don't want to hit that with these at all. I might touch it and this right here with a fine hone in a little while, but not with these diamond files. Leave that alone. In other words, any contact point, I'm not going to do this to it. It's starting to look pretty good. Looking pretty good. Regular standard diamond. I'm going to smooth out a little bit with a regular flat file. So the diamond file takes out the milling and casting marks, and the fine flat file starts to take out my diamond file marks. Then after do all this, I'll go to different papers, wet and dry papers. Down to about 400. I don't want to go any further than that. That'll be plenty shiny enough. And now a mere few hours later, I'm starting on the plate. Finally got the hammer and the frizzen ready for the paper anyway. So now I've got the little diamond hone going over the plate here. Be done pretty soon. Now I'm down to, instead of having the diamond, I've got fine files. Taking out the diamond marks. I don't know if you can see it in there or not, but it's starting to take on a little bit of a shine.
I found these smaller corn tortillas in Walmart.
Yeah.
I thought I might make us a taco,
Yeah.
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. There you go.
Except I don't have any sour cream.
I'll take
Well,
that.
I've got lettuce and tomato and onion. I hope I still have lettuce. It would be terrible if I didn't have lettuce. Shoot. I hope I do.
Well, if we don't have the ingredients, we'll have something else tonight and have tacos.
Do what, honey?
If we don't have all the ingredients we need, we'll just have something else tonight and have tacos some other time.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm starting with the paper. And I begin with 120. And I go from 120 to 220 to 320 to 400. And I will stop at 400. It'll be plenty smooth enough. So now I'm finally down to 400. Started with 120, 220, 320, and then 400. And that's as far as I'm going. It's still it's smooth enough without being too much, let's put it that way. Probably not many Fowlers of the day have a tremendous amount of smooth working down. If they were serviceable, then that was probably good enough. Most were probably even left in the white. Didn't have anything done to them. I think this is plenty. Plenty good enough. I mean, the temptation, it certainly looks so pretty. The temptation is just keep going, you know, just finer and finer papers. But you gotta be a little practical. I think 400. 400 is about my limit here. What I'm going to finish this with is Oxbow blue. And we'll rub some of it on. I'll rub it on, rub it off, and then still wool it back. But it's applied with steel wool. Talking to the camera.
Oh, shoot.
Talking about the process here.
Well, I'm going.
Gone? Where you going?
Away from that camera.
Oh, I thought you'd already gone. You had, hadn't you?
Huh?
You've already gone, hadn't you?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
Was Terry down there?
No.
He wasn't.
That guy that works for him, he's a sourpuss.
He's not Terry, is he?
No, he don't speak or nothing. I ran into Jim Poe when I pulled in at the Dollar General.
Mm-hmm.
He was coming out. And I said, Jim, the bottom part of that furnace fell open. And I said, for some reason, I was thinking that you told me that needed to be up in there tight. And if it wouldn't go all the way to let you know. And he said, that's exactly right. He said, I'll be by there sometime Monday afternoon to fix that. He said, it has to be closed the whole way up. Why I would remember that, among other things, I don't know.
Do what, huh?
I said, why I would remember that, among other things, I don't know. But anyway.
Oxbow blue is pretty tough stuff. You know it's got to be pretty stout stuff if you apply it with steel wool.
Possibly eat a piece of bacon.
I'm not even going to put that many coats on anything. Since I'm going to rub most of it off anyway. So after Oswald Blue's been in there a few minutes, take it to the sink, take the same steel wool pad, start scrubbing it down. The water will neutralize the Oswald Blue. And by putting that, you can put as many coats on it as you want to get the color that you want. But just one coat has given me the gray that I was looking for. I don't know what you can tell in here, but that's a beautiful steel gray palette. I think I'll ask that good looking woman, huh? What do you think about that color? Is that pretty?
Yeah, much better.
Uh-huh.
Look at what's
This is a lot smoother. That's all that sand and the Fowler on it. I think that, for lack of a better description, I call it steel gray. I think it is improved than leaving it plumb white.
No, it looks used.
Mm-hmm.
It looks old. It looks authentic.
It's got a little bit of color.
Huh?
It's got a little bit of color rather than just being plain white.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. That's pretty.
It is pretty.
Smooth. Absolutely beautiful color. You can take a, we'll keep with the steel wool as far as that goes, but you can take a bit of Scotch-Brite.
Do what?
You could take just a tiny little bit of Scotch-Brite and make a few passes over this.
You've got some down
Yeah,
there.
I know, which I might do. But then again, I might leave it alone and just let natural my own wear use wear it in.
Normal wear is good.
Mm-hmm. Take the barrel out. We now have the barrel out. I re-oxo glued the barrel. Put one coat on it. Put a little bit of oil on it now, stabilize it. Then I'm going to rub it down with steel wool and Scotch-Brite. Right now, we'll set it back. Just set it back in. Oh. Take a look at it. See think. Whoop. Rub it back a little bit here. Well, I'm going to put it back together at the stage it looks right now. And if I want it rubbed down any further, I'll do it later. So I finally finished my Kibler Fowler. I put it together a couple of months ago. Put enough finish on the stock to hunt with it. Did absolutely nothing to the lock. I did finish the brass. Brass was the only thing that was finished. So, in the last day or so, I finally actually finished the thing. It is quite beautiful. I have no earthly idea how well it's going to show up in this camera, but it's turned out beautiful. It really did. Let me take it out here. I don't know how well it'll show up in here at all, but that cherry is positively beautiful. It has tons of life to it, meaning when you look at it from different directions, it changes. It's got quite a bit of character. And it is really a strikingly beautiful firearm. Now, I know the rage is curly maple, fancy maple, and all that. I'm not that much of a fancy person. I like it somewhat plain Jane. To me, a beautiful, plain piece of cherry or walnut. It's a subtle beauty that I like, and that's exactly what this gun delivers. Now, on the lock, and the color in this particular camera is not really true to life, but I don't know how much you can tell. But this thing, it's a beautiful, the lock is a beautiful, let's call it a gunmetal gray. It's just a beautiful gray color, as well as the barrel. The barrel right in here, which is your balance point. I've rubbed it down where it is bright, quite bright, right through where you would normally have some wear, and not so much as you get away from that. But down the top of the barrel, down the entire top of the barrel, it's a little bit lighter than it is along the sides, which I think gives it a beautiful aged look. It really turned out nice. Really did. I am quite pleased with it. And it's going to do nothing but look better and better as you use it. As you put wire on it, it's just going to get better and better. But right now, that gray look, which is not consistent, it varies through here. In other words, it's got a patina to it. And it's going to do nothing but get better and better and better as I use it. Just, to me, a gorgeous rifle. But it's not a rifle, it's a Fowler. Get that straight. It is a Fowler. One thing I did do is I added a tulip tip to the ramrod. The ramrod, where it's so small here, was hard to seat a paper card over top of your powder or your shot. And a YouTube subscriber suggested that I look on Track the Wolf and look at their tulip tips, which I did. And I got one. I like it a lot. Like it a lot. That is the one thing, that's the only thing about the Kibler Fowler that I wish it came with some sort of ramrod tip or flare or something that would more closely match the bore size, so it'd be easier to load everything without your cards turning sideways and all that. But nevertheless, it's a gorgeous piece of plunder. I will get out here in the next few days and do a bit more load testing with it. Got quite a bit of load testing to do with both shot and round ball. Now, I probably won't do any patched round ball. Patched round ball is something that about all modern shooters want to use, but basically on the frontier and back then it was bare ball. It was musket bare ball. And it's a 620 bore with a 610. I'm shooting a 610 round ball in it, and what testing I have done so far, and it hasn't been much. I was amazed at the accuracy I was able to get out of it with virtually no sight on it. But if it'll, and I'm sure it will, out in that typical shots around here at deer are 40 yards or less, wooded shots. So I'm sure that it'll be very reliable 40 yards. That I'm pretty doggone sure of. But anyway, I'll get around to doing a little bit of testing. But right now, it took a while. 2 stages, you might say. But it's now finished. And I am very, very pleased with how it turned out. My Kibler Fowler.